What if you could look back 90 days from now and barely recognize the person you used to be, not because you became someone else, but because you finally became who you were meant to be? What if 3 months from today, the habits that once controlled you were replaced by purpose, discipline, and unstoppable momentum? And what if the secret to this transformation wasn't found in motivation or luck, but in ancient wisdom you've had access to all along? There's a moment, quiet, powerful, and often overlooked, that happens in every meaningful transformation. It's not the day you hit a goal or the day others finally notice your progress. It's the day you decide, I'm not going back. That moment might be now. You're not broken. You don't need a new life. What you need is a new relationship with your life. One that's built not on chasing motivation, but on timeless truths that have guided the strongest minds in history. That's what Stoicism offers you. Not vague positivity, but deep, practical tools for total inner transformation. This isn't just about adding better habits. This is about becoming a different person. One calm under pressure, resilient through chaos, and at peace in the present. So let's walk the 3-month path together. Week 1. Recognize what you can control. There's a moment, often silent, often overlooked, that separates those who change from those who stay stuck. It's not when the world applauds your effort. It's not even when you finally see the result you were chasing. It's much earlier, much quieter. It's the moment you stop trying to control what you never could and finally take back what was always yours, your mind. Let's be honest. Most of us wake up and feel like we're already behind. The news, the noise, the endless demands, they pull us in 10 directions before we've even brushed our teeth. And without realizing it, we begin to live in reaction mode. We try to control how others see us. We overthink every move. We obsess over outcomes, traffic jams, missed opportunities, and harsh words we can't unsay or unsend. But what if that mental chaos isn't life's fault? What if it's a sign we're trying to steer the wrong ship? This week you make the first real shift on your journey. You stop wrestling with things that were never yours to hold. Epictetus, a Stoic who knew hardship intimately, gave us the clearest map. Some things are within our power while others are not. It sounds simple, but living it, that's the work. You can't control your childhood. You can't control whether someone likes your message or not. You can't control whether your boss sees your value today. You can't even control if the sun shows up tomorrow. But you can control your thoughts. You can choose your focus. You can decide how to respond. That's where the real power lives. Not in reshaping the world, but in reshaping how you meet it. So this week, begin every morning with a ritual of awareness. Take a breath. Write down 2 things that stress you out. Just 2. Now circle the one you can do something about. The other. Bless it. Release it. Let it drift like a leaf on a stream, and return your energy to what is yours. Your effort, your attitude, your next small action. You'll feel resistance. Your mind will protest, but I need to fix this. No, you don't. You need to stop leaking your life force into what can't be changed, because the truth is, when you let go of control, you gain clarity. And clarity, it's the soil where transformation begins to grow. And now that you've begun to reclaim your mental sovereignty, we take the next step, not just in what you let go of, but what you begin to cultivate. Week 2. Train your thought. Patterns. Last week, you began a powerful shift, learning to let go of what you can't control and reclaiming what's always been yours, your response, your attention, your energy. Now with that newfound space in your mind, the question becomes, what will you fill it with? Because here's the truth. Every moment of silence you create in your life will soon be filled by something. If you don't plant intention, weeds will grow by default. That's why this week is about thought patterns. Think of your thoughts like seeds. Each one carries a blueprint. Some grow into courage, others into fear. Some blossom into clarity, others decay into doubt. And the mind, like fertile soil, doesn't care what you plant. It grows what you water. For most of us, we've spent years, sometimes decades, watering the wrong seeds, replaying past failures, imagining worst-case scenarios, whispering stories of inadequacy under our breath so often that they become familiar. And what's familiar feels true, but it's not. This week you become the gardener of your mind. Begin each day with awareness. As thoughts arise, pause. Don't judge them, just notice. Are they rooted in fear or in direction? Are they pulling you toward who you want to become? Or are they tethering you to who you used to be? When you catch a negative loop, I'm not good enough. This never works. Why even try? Don't fight it with false positivity. That never lasts. Instead, pause and ask, is this thought helping me become the person I choose to be? If the answer is no, replace it not with empty slogans, but with clarity. If the old thought was, I always mess this up, the new one becomes, I'm learning how to do this better every time. If the old thought was, nobody sees me, the new one becomes, I see myself. And that's where change begins. This isn't about faking confidence, it's about practicing direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you become what you give your attention to. And now you're choosing, day by day, breath by breath, to give your attention to a future shaped by wisdom, not fear. Practice prompt. At the end of each day, write down one limiting belief you noticed. Then write the upgraded version. One that aligns with your highest self. Repeat it in the mirror before bed. Let your last words of the day be intentional, because as your thoughts change, your identity follows. And once your identity begins to shift, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop rushing and start reflecting. Week 3. Learn the power of stillness. Last week, you began rewiring your inner narrative, catching old thought loops and replacing them with clarity and direction. You planted seeds of intention. But growth doesn't come from constant doing. It needs space, it needs stillness. In a world that glorifies hustle, stillness feels rebellious. We're told to move fast, to stay busy, to always be optimizing, responding, performing. But what if the clarity you're chasing isn't found in the next achievement, but in the pause between two breaths? That's what this week is about. Reclaiming your stillness, not as an escape from life, but as the foundation for how you engage with it. Stillness isn't laziness, it's deliberate awareness. It's the moment when the noise dims just enough for you to actually hear yourself, not the critic, not the to-do list, not the demands of others, but the steady, grounded voice within. Here's what you'll do. Carve out 5 to 10 minutes each day. Sit in silence. No phone, no music, no multitasking, just you and the gentle hum of your own breath. Then ask, what did I react to today? What made me lose peace? What virtue would have served me better? You'll be surprised how loud your mind gets when everything else goes quiet. Old frustrations, new fears, stray regrets, they rise like bubbles in still water. And that's good, because what you don't face in stillness will haunt you in motion. This practice, simple, quiet, overlooked, is where real growth begins. You're not just noticing your reactions, you're learning to witness them without being consumed. You're making space between the trigger and the response. And in that space, you begin to choose differently. The Stoics believed that stillness is strength. Seneca reminded us, only the man who is self-possessed can possess peace, and now you're becoming that person. Practice ritual. Each morning or evening, return to your stillness. Light a candle, sit by a window, breathe deeply. Ask the 3 questions. Don't seek answers, just observe. Let awareness do the work. You'll notice something shifting. Your heart beats slower, your mind becomes clearer, and slowly your reactions lose their grip. You are no longer at the mercy of every wave. You are the quiet shore it breaks upon, and as you grow in stillness, something beautiful begins to unfold. The gap between what happens to you and how you respond begins to widen. Week 4. Begin the shift from reaction to response. Last week, you touched stillness, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. You began to sit quietly with yourself, to witness your thoughts rise and fall without chasing or resisting. And now that you've started to observe without judgment, you're ready for the next evolution, transforming your reaction into response. This is where everything starts to change, because most people go through life in a constant state of reflex. Something happens, they react. A message arrives, they panic. Someone criticizes them, they defend. A delay, a disagreement, a disruption, and suddenly they're spinning. But you're building space, and in that space there's power. This week you begin the subtle but life-altering shift from automatic reaction to chosen response. It's the difference between being pulled by life and shaping it. It's the difference between shouting back out of impulse and speaking with intention. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being emotionally intelligent. You'll start noticing the pause, that split-second window when your mind wants to lash out, shut down, or overreact. In that moment, you breathe. You don't run from the emotion. You just don't hand it the wheel. You might be tempted to justify your old reflexes. But I'm just being honest, or that's just how I am. But remember, honesty without awareness is just reaction in disguise. The Stoics didn't train to suppress emotion. They trained to channel it. This week you become a sculptor of your own energy. Your words become fewer but heavier. Your silence becomes more than absence. It becomes wisdom. Your face no longer flinches at small things. Your shoulders drop. Instead of tense, you start to feel like time slows down. Not because the world got easier, but because you became still enough to move through it with calm precision. Practice prompt. Each evening reflect, when did I react today? What triggered me? How could I have responded instead? Even just writing the better response after the fact begins to train your future self. And when you slip, because you will, don't shame yourself, smile, you noticed. And that awareness is the work. By the end of this week, you'll feel different. Not louder, not more dominant, but grounded, intentional, clear, and soon others will feel it too. They won't know what changed. They'll just sense that you're no longer easily shaken. Month 2, rebuild your habits and identity. If month 1 was about shifting your internal lens, learning to see differently, then month 2 is about living differently. Because clarity without action is just comfort. Now that your foundation is solid, we begin rebuilding your life from the inside out. One habit, one choice, one day at a time. And the first thing we rebuild is identity. Week 5, choose who you want to become. You've just completed a powerful shift. In month 1, you rewired the foundation, learning to let go, observe, reflect, and respond. But clarity without action is just comfort. Now comes the part that scares most people, because it demands that you stop living on autopilot and start choosing your identity. Most people spend years asking, what should I do? But they skip the deeper, more transformative question, who do I want to become? This is where change gets personal, because this isn't about productivity hacks or building better habits just for the sake of it. This is about reshaping the very story you tell yourself when no one's watching. You see, your future self already exists, right now. Not out there in some distant possibility, but as a set of actions you could take today, if only you chose them. So pause. Picture yourself 90 days from now. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves in a difficult conversation? What do they say no to that you still say yes to now? What do they wake up thinking about? And more importantly, what do they not tolerate anymore? This isn't imagination. This is direction. Write it down. Write a letter from your future self. Let them speak clearly. Let them remind you of what you let go of and what you reclaimed. I no longer people-please to feel safe. I've built morning rituals that anchor me. I'm not afraid of quiet anymore. I say less, but it means more. Now choose one habit from that future version of you and live it today. Maybe it's how they begin the morning. Maybe it's how they speak with calm clarity. Maybe it's how they show up when no one's clapping. This isn't about pretending, it's about practicing. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The truth is, identity isn't found, it's built, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. Daily practice. Read your letter from your future self every morning. Then ask, what would this version of me do next? Act accordingly. Let that be your compass. You'll start noticing something subtle. Decisions feel cleaner. Temptations lose their power. Old habits seem louder, because they know you're walking away. And as you do, you'll face your next challenge. Not the loud kind, but the boring kind. Week 6. Embrace boredom and routine. Last week, you met the future version of yourself and began taking action as if that version already existed. You wrote the script for who you want to become. But here's the part no one talks about. Becoming that person isn't about breakthroughs or sparks of genius. It's about repetition. It's about showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It's about doing the boring stuff with devotion. Modern life trains us to chase excitement. Every scroll, every alert, every shiny new goal pulls our attention. But transformation doesn't live in dopamine spikes. It lives in deliberate monotony. You want mental strength? That's built in the mornings you journal, even when your thoughts feel dull. You want physical energy? That's built on the walks you take, even when it's cloudy, even when no one sees. You want self-respect? That's built when you choose discipline over drama for the 100th time. It's not flashy, but it's real, because every time you repeat a small value-aligned action, you're casting a vote for who you are becoming. This week, you'll stop looking for motivation and start building momentum through ritual. Not perfection, not willpower, but structure, rhythm, predictability. Here's your new mantra. I don't rise to the level of my goals. I fall to the level of my systems. Daily Keystone Habit Tracker, morning breathwork or journaling, cold shower or mindful walk. No social media before 10 a.m. 1. Non-negotiable aligned action, e.g. reach out, read, reflect. These aren't tasks, they're anchors, and over time, they become identity. At first, your mind will resist. It'll whisper, "This is boring, this isn't working." But pause, smile, and keep going. Because boring is the soil where greatness quietly grows. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire and still journaled daily, didn't wait to feel inspired. He built discipline like a craftsman. With hands in the dirt, with tools that look too simple to be powerful, you're doing the same. Reflection. Prompt. At the end of each day, ask, what small action did I repeat today that aligned with the person I'm becoming? And if you missed it, no shame, no guilt, just awareness and the willingness to return, because the real power isn't in doing it once, it's in returning to it again and again until it becomes who you are. Week 7. Let go of the need. For immediate results last week, you leaned into the quiet rhythm of routine. You discovered that greatness doesn't roar, it repeats. But now you may begin to feel something else creeping in. Impatience. You've shown up. You've stayed consistent. You've done the work. So, where are the results? That's where. Most people quit, not because the path was too hard, but because they expected the path to reward them too fast. This week, your challenge is simple but profound. Detach from the outcome. Fall in love with the process, because the Stoics knew something that modern society has forgotten. The fruit never appears the day after the seed is planted. Growth, real, sustainable, soul-deep growth, always happens out of sight first. You don't go to the gym once and expect a new body. You don't meditate for a week and expect total peace. You don't journal a few times and erase years of inner noise. The world tells you results are proof. But Stoicism says, action is enough. Marcus Aurelius wrote, don't worry if others don't see your progress. Worry only if you do not see it yourself. Let that sink in. This week, your focus isn't on being noticed. It's on being undeniable. Undeniable is built quietly. It's built in the evenings when no one claps. It's built when you still choose the hard thing after a long day. It's built when you resist the urge to post, to prove, to compare. You don't need to go viral. You need to go inward. Reflection prompt, nightly. Did I live by my values? Today, did I move 1% closer to my vision? If yes, you're winning. If no, you're learning. Both are part of the path. And when the old urge rises, this isn't working, pause and breathe. Say softly, it's working, even if I can't see it yet. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, something invisible strengthens. Not your muscles, not your metrics, but your trust, and that's the foundation no one can take from you. So stay steady, stay silent if you must. Just don't stop. Week 8. Build external habits that serve your inner calm. Last week, you took a brave step. You let go of the need for immediate rewards and learned to trust the quiet rhythm of growth. You started showing up not for applause, but for alignment. And now it's time to look around, because no matter how strong your mindset becomes, your environment still shapes your energy. You see, transformation doesn't happen in isolation. It's reinforced or eroded by the spaces you move through, the things you see, the noise you absorb, and the habits your surroundings silently invite. This week, you begin curating your outer world to protect the calm you've been building on the inside. Think about it. Your digital life, your physical space, your daily schedule, they all speak to your nervous system. Does your phone make you feel spacious or scattered? Does your desk inspire clarity or clutter your focus? Do your mornings begin with peace or panic? The Stoics lived simply not to be austere, but to remain undistracted. They understood that clutter, whether physical or mental, was a tax on peace. So let's simplify, let's make space, let's protect your inner sanctuary with outer rituals. Here's your practice this week. Declutter. Your digital world. Unfollow accounts that drain you. Unsubscribe from noise. Turn off non-essential notifications. Design a physical sanctuary zone. It can be one chair, one corner, one table. Add a candle, a quote, a plant, symbols of stillness. Let it be a space where your body knows, here I slow down. 3. Protect your time like a Templio block. 90 minutes of deep focus daily. Use that time to build, not consume. Let that space be sacred. No interruptions, no negotiation. These aren't productivity hacks. They're acts of devotion. To your peace, to your growth, to the new you that's emerging. And as you do this, something subtle shifts. You feel safer, without knowing why. You feel more clear without more effort. You find yourself breathing deeper, responding slower, and moving with purpose, because now your world isn't just reacting to you. You've taught it how to support you. Evening prompt. What part of my environment supported my calm today? What part needs refining tomorrow? Remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. One corner cleaned, one screen silenced, one moment protected. It all adds up. Now we enter month 3. Month 3. Step into the unrecognizable. You've done the quiet work. You've met your thoughts, you've faced your habits, you've let go of illusions. And now the final month isn't about adding more. It's about embodying what you've already built. It's about walking into your days with the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are, even if no one claps for it. Week 9. Live according to your inner code. Last week, you began to redesign your world from the outside in. You decluttered the noise, carved out quiet spaces, and aligned your environment with your intention. But now we go even deeper, because the most powerful environment is internal. This week, you begin living from the inside out, not from trends, not from what's expected, but from your inner code. You've probably felt it before, that small voice within that nudges you when you're about to do something misaligned. That quiet knowing that says, this isn't who I want to be, even if no one's watching. That's your code. And it's time to make it your compass. Because here's the truth. The world will keep shouting at you. It will keep offering you ready-made values, fame, followers, status, image. But if you don't decide what guides you, the world will do it for you. The Stoics didn't live by emotion or opinion. They lived by virtue, by principles they chose deliberately: courage, wisdom, justice, temperance. So this week, choose your own. Not 10, just one each day. Maybe it's discipline when you feel lazy. Maybe it's patience when you're triggered. Maybe it's compassion when judgment rises. Start each morning by choosing one core value. Write it down, carry it in your pocket. Repeat it when your mind begins to wander. Then filter every choice, every response, every moment of uncertainty through that lens. What would discipline do right now? What would compassion say in this moment? What does courage look like here? This isn't about being perfect, it's about being principled. Daily practice. Choose one virtue in the morning. Reflect each night. Did I live by this code today? If yes, feel that quiet pride. If no, adjust gently. Tomorrow is another chance to embody it. You'll notice something powerful. Decisions become clearer. You second-guess yourself less. You no longer need to look outward for approval because your compass is internal. This is what it means to become anchored. You don't float with every trend. You don't spin with every conflict. You lead yourself, and soon others will feel it, not because you're louder, but because you carry a calm that doesn't waver. Week 10. Redefine success from the inside out. Last week, you began to live by your own compass, guided not by impulse or opinion, but by the quiet clarity of chosen values. That inner code began to shape your responses, decisions, and presence. Now, it's time to question something even deeper. What does success actually mean to you? Because most of us never pause to define it. We inherit success the way we inherit furniture, handed down from culture, from family, from ads that whisper, more is better, more money, more likes, more followers, more hustle, more noise. But if that kind of success was truly fulfilling, why do so many people who have it all still feel restless, still feel empty? This week, you take your definition of success back into your own hands. The Stoics never measured life by fame or fortune. To them, the richest life was one anchored in peace, virtue, and purpose. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." So here's your challenge. Redefine success in a way that aligns with your soul, not your ego. What does a successful day feel like for you? Is it a morning where you woke up unrushed? An evening where you were present with your family? A decision where you chose integrity over image? Maybe success for you looks like a calm nervous system, a focused hour of deep work, a conversation that mattered, a day lived without regret. Practice prompt each morning or night. What does success look like for me today? What truly matters right now? Did I live that way or chase something else? You'll begin to see patterns. The metrics you use to measure yourself, numbers, attention, external validation, will feel less magnetic, and something softer, truer will rise. You'll start to feel full tied without needing more. And when the world offers you its distractions, its shiny promises and urgent demands, you'll be able to say, "That's not mine." Because you've already defined what matters, and that definition lives in your journal, in your calendar, in your quiet yeses, and even quieter no's. Week 11. Become the observer, not the actor. Last week, you rewrote the definition of success, not based on what the world celebrates, but on what brings you peace. You began living for alignment, not applause. And now the journey turns inward again. Because even as you build discipline, clarity, and calm, there's one final illusion that still pulls at you, the need to perform. From childhood, we learn how to act. Smile for the camera, say what's expected, fit the mold, be who others need us to be. And slowly, without noticing, we become performers in our own lives. We wear roles, we rehearse reactions, we filter truth for approval. But this week, we stop acting, and we start observing. The Stoics knew the power of detachment, not as disconnection, but as clarity. They practiced watching life with stillness, stepping back from the noise, not to escape it, but to understand it. So this week, that's your work. Step out of the role and into awareness. When someone criticizes you, watch your reaction. Do you shrink, defend, lash out, or do you observe? When things go wrong, notice your thoughts. Do they spiral into blame, or do they settle into response? When joy appears, how do you hold it? With gratitude or fear of losing it? Daily practice prompt. Each evening reflect, what did I witness today without reacting? Where did I act from strength, not fear? When did I pause instead of perform? You'll begin to feel something rare, spaciousness. Moment of stillness between event and emotion. A breath of perspective between feeling and behavior. And in that space, you'll find freedom. Because the observer doesn't chase validation. The observer doesn't flinch at discomfort. The observer doesn't need to be seen. They already see themselves. You're not abandoning emotion. You're mastering it. You're not suppressing your truth. You're delivering it with wisdom. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming clear. This is what Seneca called tranquillitas animi, tranquility of the soul, and it doesn't come from winning. It comes from watching. You'll start to feel less reactive, less pulled by drama, less drained by needing to prove or perform. You'll start moving through life like a calm breeze, present, aware, and whole. Week 12. Embrace the return. Last week, you stopped performing and started observing. You stepped back from the noise, from the role-playing, from the need to react, and you found something rare, inner stillness. Now, after 3 months of quiet work, deep rewiring, and subtle shifts, you've arrived at the final week. But this is not the end, it's the return. The Stoics often spoke of the circle, the journey outward into experience, and the return inward into understanding. And now you complete that circle. Not to become who you were, but to step fully into who you are. You no longer need to chase peace, you are peace. You don't reach for discipline, you embody it. You don't search for clarity, you live it. This week there's no new habit to master, no breakthrough to force. The work now is to walk naturally as the person you've become. Look at your days, how you move, how you speak, how you respond, and notice what has changed. You pause more often, you react less intensely. You choose with more purpose, you listen with more presence. Others may notice. They may say you seem calmer, or there's something different about you, and you'll smile. Not because you need their validation, but because you finally recognize yourself. That's the quiet power of inner transformation. It doesn't scream for attention, it radiates. Final practice prompt. Each night this week, write, what did I live today that my past self would be proud of? What part of me no longer needs fixing, just honoring? What rhythm do I now carry that feels natural, true, and mine? This is the return, to your core, to your breath, to your life, on your terms. And here's the beautiful paradox. You've become unrecognizable to the old you, but more yourself than ever. You walk slower, but with purpose. You speak less, but with truth. You expect less, but experience more. This isn't perfection. It's integration. You've trained your mind, you've shaped your days, and now you carry a kind of freedom the world can't give and can't take away. Let's go back to the start. 3 months ago, you were hoping for change. Now you're living it. And here's the truth you've discovered. You don't need a new year, a new place, or a new identity to transform. You need intention, attention, and ancient wisdom, practiced daily, because transformation is not a moment, it's a way of life. You now embody the Stoic truths. Focus only on what you can control. Build who you are, not what they see. Do what's right, not what's easy. Stay still, even as the world spins. You've trained your mind, you've shaped your days, and you've built a life you don't need to escape from. Not perfect, but peaceful. Not invincible, but resilient. Not loud, but unshakably clear. That is what it means to become the unrecognizable version of yourself. And the best part? You're just getting started. If this message resonated with you, let it land deeper. Drop a comment below and finish this sentence. In the next 90 days, I will become someone who... Let it be your declaration to yourself and to this community. If you found clarity, inspiration, or courage here, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's on the edge of transformation. This world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who lead themselves, quietly, purposefully, stoically. Let that person be you.